Antigone is a play that has stood the test of time. It was written by Sophocles and is about a woman who stands up for what she believes in. Would you be willing to break the law to do the right thing for someone else? Antigone put her life on the line to make sure her brother had a proper burial. She told Creon that he is acting outside of God's law and against tradition, and she feels justified, therefore, in defying his rule. Unlike her sister, who feared Creon, Antigone buried her brother. She was arrested and took her own life. However, she stood by her morals and didn't give in, even though she knew she would face consequences. Although this play was written in 441 BC, it is still impactful today. There are many people who, like Antigone, sacrifice their own well-being for others. Susan B. Anthony is a historical woman who stood up for what she believed in. She played a pivotal role in the women's suffrage movement. She was part of the Women's Loyal National League, which supported the abolition of slavery. In 1866, she campaigned for equal rights for women as well as African Americans. Like Antigone, she was also arrested. She was arrested for voting in Rochester, New York in 1872 and refused to pay her fine. Her efforts helped Congress get the 19th Amendment passed, giving women the right to vote, which did not happen until 1920. Mohandas Gandhi spent his first time in prison in 1922 for civil disobedience after a protest march turned violent. He served 5 years of this sentence and became famous for peaceful protests. His arrest did not stop there, but he never gave up. He worked hard for India to gain its independence from the British. Sadly, in 1948, he was assassinated for his beliefs. Another historical man is Martin Luther King Jr. He made an enormous impact in the civil rights movement in the 1950s. Like Antigone, he was also placed in prison for standing up for what he believed in. In 1963, with his famous letter from Birmingham jail being smuggled out of prison, it defended the strategy of nonviolent resistance to racism. He, much like Antigone, also believed people have a moral responsibility to break unjust laws. Unfortunately, he also had a tragic death when he was assassinated in 1968. Another female who stood her ground, much like Antigone, was Rosa Parks. In 1955, she was on the bus and the conductor asked her to give up her seat for a white passenger. She refused and was arrested for breaking an Alabama law that required black people to give up their seats for white people. This led to a 381-day boycott of the Montgomery bus system. It also paved the way for banning segregation on public transportation in 1956. Rosa may not have realized how impactful this incident on the bus would be. Finally, there is Nelson Mandela, who, unlike the others, served a much longer sentence. He was imprisoned for 27 years. He fought against apartheid in South Africa and was imprisoned for sabotage. He also helped so many children and demanded respect for human rights. He later served as the president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. There are many who have put their own well-being aside to make a difference for others. If the time came for you to stand up for others, would you be able to find the courage to, like these individuals did? These are ordinary people who decided to do the right thing, not only for themselves, but for others. Strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger people stand up for others. These men and women are very strong individuals and have made a significant difference in the lives of many. It is easy to give your opinion when you are surrounded by like-minded people you trust. Would you be as brave if you knew your actions could send you to prison or even cost you your life? These are a few examples of extraordinary men and women who were everyday people who put the rights of others before their own safety and didn't hold back. Even though they were peaceful protesters, some spent numerous times in prison. They did not worry about the potential consequences. Although Antigone was written in BC, the play is still relevant today. In conclusion, you never know when it will be your time to be courageous and lift up your cross. Thank you.